Hi, good morning, everyone. All right. So before we start, I just have seen that on this coming 10th of June, Salesforce is going to update everyone with summer 23 major release. That's a big story. Right now, we are on to the spring 23, and we are going to be get updated with the new version on June 10th, summer 23. All right. Fine. Let's now start with the next topic. We have recently finished up with the SQL queries, Salesforce Object Query Language, as well as the relationship queries. Now let's start with another topic, one fresh topic, one new topic, DML statements. So what is a DML first of all? The DML is data manipulation language. DML stands for data manipulation language. Now see, if you would go to the front end part, and for example, you go to, let's say, account object, and if you would, for example, if you would press this new button, after filling up these details, let's say if I would be filling up a detail over here, like Tesla, Tesla Corp, and the industry type is technology, the industry is electronics, the annual revenue is more than 10 lakhs, rating may be hot, something would be the phone number, the fax number, and the website, let's say www.tesla.com, with few other details. If I would be saving this, active status is yes. And when after filling all this information, if I would press this save button, now this data, what I have created is being stored to account object. This data, what we have created just now, has been stored to the account object. And we can refer it at any moment of time. I mean, even if we go to some other place and then we come back to this object, I wanted to see that data. So definitely I could see it because that is present, that is being inserted. When you save something, that's being inserted. And where it get inserted? It get inserted into the account table. Account table. Where is that table? That table is inside database.com. What is database.com? The database.com is Salesforce database repository. This we have studied so far that Salesforce is not dependent on anyone else to store its data. Like majorly what happens is like the applications, the applications whenever they are built up, they take certain other data repository. Like most of them use Oracle. Oracle is the database repository. And there are few more. MongoDB. And there are few more. There are so many vendors, those who provide their space as a data server. But Salesforce does not have any dependencies on them. Salesforce have its own database repository called database.com. Salesforce have its own database repository called database.com. So whenever this is your front end part, by the way. Whenever you store something, whenever you press this new button, you fill up a form. And when you save that, when you hit that save button, this data what you have created, that goes to that corresponding object table. I can say now that this data has been stored inside account table. What I just have performed, I have inserted one record. I have inserted one record. If I wanted to modify something, if I wanted to make certain changes in the existing record, I can press this edit button, and I can press this edit button, and I can perform whatever the changes I would like to perform, and then again I would save this. The changes has been reflected. So when initially the record is created for the first time, that is something what we could say is like it is an insert operation. It is an insert operation. When the first time the record is created inside database, we can say that this one is an insert operation. If you have performed any editing, if you have performed any changes, if you have performed any customization in the existing record, we can say that means if you have edited any details of an existing record, we can say that we have performed update operation. We have performed update operation. Now, if I would delete this record, that goes to recycle bin, isn't it? That goes to recycle bin. Although recycle bin is just a way to demonstrate that. I have told you that there's a field called is active. And whenever you delete something, it actually doesn't go any, there is no other place apart from the object itself. I mean, although in the front end, it's look like to be like this record which we have deleted that is present inside a recycle bin. And seeing this inside recycle bin, that makes us very comfortable. Otherwise, if you would say to a general user that even though if you delete something that doesn't goes to recycle bin, that remains still inside the object, it's a point of discomfort for everyone. See, only the technical persons have interest in all technicalities. For a general user, whenever we build something, it must be something called as user friendly. It must always be user friendly. We always wanted to hide the complexity from a common man, from a common user. But for us being a developer, we know that what internally has been happened for Tesla Corp record, there's a field called as is active, is deleted, sorry. The value of is deleted becomes true. And even though you could fetch with them, if you would fire a query on account object, including all rows, there's a clause called as all rows. You can even fetch out these record. And by the way, this is going to be remain inside in recycle bin for next 15 days. Otherwise, after 15 days, if you would have not restored this back, after 15 days, that is going to be get hard deleted automatically. So I was just trying to replicate few of the DML operations. We already know how to perform them. We know like how we can insert a new record. What could be done? How should you insert a new record? You have to go to this new button, and after filling up all the details, whatever you wanted, when you save this, one record is going to be get inserted inside account object. That was insert operation. We know like how we can perform update operation. You will have to open the record, press this edit button, do whatever changes wherever you wanted to commit those changes. And once those has been done, press the save button. What you did, you just have updated the record. Then how to delete that? How to delete that? That is also something what you can do. That is also what is you can do. All right. So basically, we know a few of DML operations that could be done from the front end, that could be done from the user interface, that could be done from the user interface. Typically, there are 6 different types of DML operations. Typically, there are 6 different types of DML operations. Insert. That means to insert a new record. Delete, that means to delete a record. Update, to edit, to perform the editing of a record. And then upsert. What is an upsert? I'm going to tell you, because we are going to solve example on every one of them apart from the merge. Merge. We are not going to perform examples on the merge, but I will let you explain where exactly we can use the merge. Merge is very rare. Merge is very rare. So upsert. Upsert means in the same operation when you are trying to perform insert plus update. Insert plus update. That insert plus update, how we are going to perform? We're going to see this by an example. I am going to solve one example for every one of them. All right. So upsert typically means insert plus update. If you are inserting a new record or if you are changing the existing record, but you are not doing this with the two separate transactions, rather you are using upsert. So upsert is capable to perform insert plus update. We're going to see that. And then if you already have deleted something, just now I have undeleted, isn't it? That is also undelete. Undelete also is a DML operation. So there are 6 different forms of DMLs. Insert. There are 6 different forms of DMLs. Insert, update, delete, upsert, merge, and all. Update. And what is this? We are going to discuss this. All right. Please don't see to this right now because this is a separate topic. I'm going to discuss this on another lecture. Don't see this right now. Right now, just concentrate on to all this. So if we can already perform some of them from the front end, from the user interface, like I could insert a new record. By this new button, I could insert a new record. By this edit button, I could perform the changes. I could perform update operation. By this delete button, I could perform delete operation. And after deleting, even though I have a facility over here, that I could perform undelete operation as well. So when we already have the front end, which is capable to perform like insert, update, delete, undelete, why should we learn DML statements? Let's now start from this. Just a moment. So if we already have the action buttons, in your user interface, and this is, this is not just with the account. You go to any object, Just let me know whether my audio is clear to you or not. On my screen, I could see certain notification related to this. Is my audio is clear to every one of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Check the face. Anyway. क्या हो रहा है यार ये? One. Anyways, I guess I need to restart my system, but I'll do it later. Anyways, all right. So when we have certain action buttons in our user interface, which are capable to perform few of your DML operations, then why should we learn this? Why should we learn DML statements? Now to answer this, see, yes, of course, we have certain action buttons. Like for inserting a new record, we have a new button. For performing updation, we have edit. To delete, we have delete. To undelete, we have undelete. But the problem is you can only use them in this form. You can only use them in the user interface, in the front end part. And they cannot be used inside your program. If with the help of a program, if you wanted to perform like insert operation, if with a program, if you wanted to update something or upsert something or delete something, you cannot definitely use this action buttons over there. So these are available in the front end. They are front end quantity. We cannot replicate them. We cannot use them inside in our programs. All right. So that is the biggest answer. But this creates another question. Why should I perform an insert or maybe update or maybe upsert or maybe delete from a program? All right. If I would answer this, for example, you asked me a question, sir, if we already have these buttons, you have a new button by which you can perform the insert operation. You have an edit button by which you can update the records. You have a delete button by which you can perform the deletion operation. You have an undelete button by which you can even undelete the record. So if you can perform all this operation with these action buttons, why should we go and learn the DML statements? Then I would answer you, okay, fine. Yes, they are available, but they are available in this form. They are available in the front end. Anyways, if you wanted to build up the same functionality inside a program with the help of a program, if you wanted to insert something with the help of a program, if you wanted to delete a record, you wanted to perform updation of a record inside a record, you wanted to perform upsert operation, merge operation, undelete operation. So by the help of a program, by the means of a program, if you wanted to replicate this, you cannot use these action buttons. Then you must know the DML statements. That is the answer. But this answer would again create another question in mind. Why we are going to do this operation with program, isn't it? When if you could simply insert a record, like this, inside in any object, you can do that. If you could simply edit a record just by pressing this edit button, you can edit the record. You could delete a record, you could undelete a record. So if you can perform these operations in the front end, Salesforce front end, the user interface, why should I write down a program for that? Because if I would write a program and inside in program, if I wanted to perform insert, I would require a DML statement called insert. If I'm writing a program to perform the update, then I would require the update statement. So these all DMLs, we are going to require them if we are performing any operation of such a kind, like insert, update, delete, whatever, and we are performing this via a program, then we require them. But why should we do this with the programming? Yeah, that is a question. That is an open question. If I can insert a record from the front end, from the user interface, if I can update a record from there, I can delete, I can undelete. हो सकता है मैं merge नहीं कर सकता, एक्चुअली मर्ज भी कर सकते हैं फ्रंट एंड से, किसी दिन मैं बताऊंगा उस बारे में भी. हाँ, मैं अपसर्ट नहीं कर सकता यहाँ से. दैट इज द ओनली ऑपरेशन विच वी कैन नॉट परफॉर्म ओवर हियर, हालांकि मर्ज भी हो जाता है यहाँ से. So when I can do this operation from the front end, from the user interfaces, why should I go with programming? Yes, this is something you should know. Being a programmer, being a developer, being a coder, this is the most important question of your life. If you have this facility already available in front end, there are certain action buttons which can do this operation, which can insert a record, which can edit a record, which can delete a record, undelete a record, which can even merge two records. Why should I write down a program for that? Now let's talk on that. That is the most important part of this. See, I could straightly take a program, understand? I could straightly take a program and show you how to use insert that I'm going to take. My discussion by today morning, I could directly start. See, guys, there are 6 DMLs. Let's see what is the use of them. Let's see how we can insert a record by using insert statement. How we can delete a record. How we can update. I can directly take program, which I am going to take. And I could skip all this, what I'm talking right now, but that doesn't make any sense. You must, why I wanted you to learn? Because see, this is the way I used to understand things for myself. This is the way I used to teach the things for you. And that's the reason, that is the only reason why I require certain more time to teach a small topic. I probably have taken 10 lectures only on SQL. Whereas I'll tell you one thing, when we were learning this, it was just a matter of 3 or 4 lectures. They have wind up the complete topic just in 4, but that was not the way to teach, right? I have to explore so many things. When I started working, I came to know, oh, this is something that was not being taught to us. So I don't wanted you to go into that zone of darkness. So this is the reason I used to elaborate everything with every possibilities, whatever I know, whatever I have, the knowledge I'm having for that, I used to explore. I used to make you understand that. That is the reason I always say, if you are coming to me for the Salesforce training, you have to be very patient. I can take a lot of time, not little more, a lot of time. I would require a lot of time for teaching because Salesforce is not a small thing. And the most important thing, what you are learning right now with me, is real time. Where I exactly face the problem, and I used to have a discussions on that as well. Though I don't record that because I have told you, like, somebody has uploaded my lectures on the YouTube as well. When you upload something on a public channel, it's obviously is available for everyone. So that happens with me in the past, and that's the only reason I stopped. Whenever I give you any real-time knowledge, I used to stop the recordings. That's the only reason. Otherwise, in the past batches, that was 201 or 202, I guess. Somebody of that batch, or maybe someone, a friend of friend of friend of friend, something has did that. I'm not going in that. I just don't want to track those things, but this happens with everyone. तो ठीक है, उसके बाद थोड़ा सा मुझे चेंज होना पड़ा. But the most important thing what you are getting is where this real time, in the real time scenario, what is the purpose of learning this? That is the most important question. So why we are learning this? If these operations can be done, there is an action button already available to insert, to update, to delete, to undelete, and even for merge as well. Why we are doing this? Why at all we are building a program? So this is the important thing to know, guys. The front end, this one, the user interface. It is although capable, yes, it is capable to insert a new record. There is a new button. It is capable to perform the update. There is an edit button. It is capable to perform delete, undelete, and merge as well. But this can be done only on single record. This is the answer to all questions. It can be done only on one record at a time. One record at a time. One record at a time. Yes, Bhagyashri. Thank you for this. With the help of a programming, we can create up to 150 record at a time. 150 record. But by the way, this is not just 150. I will let you know how to create 10,000 records at a time. That was a very good attempt, Bhagyashri. I really appreciate. Just a small correction in your answer. Yes, if we wanted to create, if we wanted to insert, if we wanted to update, upsert, delete, undelete, merge, bulk amount of record, bulk amount of record. And that capacity goes up to 10,000. That capacity goes up to 10,000. Can this be extended beyond 10,000? Yes, of course. Yes, of course. But that would be that we are going to learn in a separate topic called asynchronous programming. We're going to learn that as well. But right now, at least, let me tell you that you can insert, update, delete, upsert, merge, undelete 10,000 records at a time. 10,000 records, not just 150, don't worry. 10,000 records. You can insert 10,000 records. You can update 10,000 records. You can delete or undelete 10,000 records at a time. But that obviously is not going to be done from the front end, from the user interface. Because if from user interface, obviously, very obviously, if I would ask you to create 10 records by this new button, you have to perform this operation 10 times. Like first you will, for the first time, you'll press this new button, you'll fill out the details, you'll save this. One record is getting saved, one record is getting inserted. Then you again come back to this, you press this new button, and this you will have to repeat for every record. So the front end have this limitation. The user interface have these limitations. Whatever, yes, it is capable to perform DML, but only on a single record at a time. But if I wanted to perform a bulk insertion, updation, and yes, that could also be done with the data loaders from the Salesforce inspector. I'm agree with all of them. I have told you everything. You can do this with any whatever you feel. But if that has to be done with the programming, then even, you cannot do this with front end. You cannot do this with Salesforce inspector. You cannot do this with data loader or import export wizard. You cannot use any one of them. They are capable. They are more capable. But understand, if this has to be done with the programming, then there's no other way. There's no other way apart from using insert statement. Let me talk one more point over here. Let me talk on one more point. See, I have told you that, yes, this is not just about entering the records in bulk. That's why I'm learning this. No, I have two good reasons with me. You are having two good reasons with you. Why I am teaching you DML statements. We have two good reasons for that. The first, I wanted to perform all these operations on bulk amount of record. I wanted to insert a huge amount of record. I wanted to update. I wanted to delete a huge amount of record, more than one record. Because if I would try to do this with the customized form, the front end form, the user interface, I'll have to do this one record at a time. And that would require a significant amount of time if I'll try this with the front end part. It's not possible. It's not literally possible. Even though it seems to be possible, this is completely fed up option. So I shall have something in. Yes, I have. So this was my point number one. But yes, there's another way to do that. You can try this with the Salesforce inspector. I have shown you when we were learning that data loaders. That time I have shown you, like, if you would try with data import, this would give you a facility by using an Excel file or CSV file. You could insert the records. You can insert the record. In a bulk amount, you can insert a record. And the capacity is, if I'm not wrong with this, up to 5 million. Up to 5 million record we could insert with Salesforce inspector. If I'm not wrong, because I tried. I have inserted 10 lakh, 20 lakh of records. I did that with Salesforce inspector. So if I'm not wrong with this, if this is using asynchronous internally, I guess we can simply insert 5 million records. The same we can insert with the data loaders as well, right? Data loader is capable to insert 5 million record. So we have other options as well. You know the other options. So that was only point number one. So if I would say you ki I am teaching you insert, update, delete this DML statement so that you could perform the operations in bulk amount of record, then you could come up with me and say, sir, this could also be done with like data import wizard. This could also be done with data loaders. This could also be done with the Salesforce inspector. I'll say, yes, of course. Yes, of course. But let's try to understand. See, let's try to build up a frame over here so that we could differentiate this very easily. We could differentiate this very easily that where to use data, where to use this data import, export, data loader, Salesforce inspector, and where to use the programming. Let's try to understand this, right? Let me extend this a little bit because see, this can be discussed only in the beginning. Once I have started the topic, there's no scope, there's no point to discuss those things. All right. So I know I am extending this, but I am extending because you should understand that. Just give me a moment. Mouse कहाँ रखूं, जगह ही नहीं है. टेबल छोटा टेबल है. कहाँ रखूं, कहाँ रखूं, कहाँ रखूं. 1 second, guys. 1 second. थोड़ी बहुत adjustment करना है. Life is full of adjustments, you know, especially when you are in India. अरे यार. Just a moment. So mouse connect करने दो यार. Yes. All right. देखो यार. हो गया. Very good. See. Yes, of course, there is another ways to perform the bulk operation. So if this is the Salesforce org. This is the Salesforce org having all those objects and everything. You wanted to upload something from your computer, right? You wanted to upload something from your, if this is your PC, if you're having, this is your computer or laptop. Okay? This is your computer and laptop. If you wanted that something should be transferred from this system to Salesforce, if this is your uh, if this is your task, if you wanted to transfer something from your computer, your laptop, your system to the Salesforce, in that case only, you can make a use of like data import oblique export, or maybe a data loader, or maybe a Salesforce inspector, or maybe like data loader.io. That's data loader.io is a cloud version of data loader. But anyways, if our intention is to load something, if our intention is to load something from our system, from our local computer to the Salesforce org. By the way, this is my Salesforce org. Okay. In that case only, I can make a use of these tools. Because in that case, what we are going to do, we are either going to generate a CSV file for that, or else we could directly, with the Salesforce inspector, you can directly upload from the Excel sheets. So this you are going to do. Either you are going to upload the things from CSV or maybe from an Excel file. If this is your task, you can make a use of those. But let's consider the second scenario. There is another system. There is another external system. Now, this could be Salesforce system or could be some other technology. There is an external system. There is an external system. There's an external system of some XYZ technology. It could be Salesforce system. It could be some other technology system as well. And if your intention is to get something from this system and upload this inside Salesforce, although for this, we are going to learn what we used to call as integration. After development, the third module, which I'm going to start is integration. So if this is the requirement, where we are getting data from certain external resource and we wanted to either insert, update, delete, whatever the parameters we are getting, the operations we are getting from external system, and we wanted to perform those kinds of operation in Salesforce, then we are going to write something called as API, application program interfaces. What is an application program interface? That's just a program for you. It's a program. It's a program. Actually, we are going to write APIs for them. APIs, they are also called as web services. They are also called as web services. APIs are called as web services, and they are ultimately a program. By the means of program, we're going to perform those operations. In that time, in that situation, there is no other way to perform these. There's only way is to do this with DML. There's only one way to do that is DML. For example, if external system is generating certain inputs that we require to capture, this happens, we have learned web to lead, web to cases. If external system is giving you the information related to account, you want to capture those inputs and let that input must goes to account, then we'll have to go with we'll always have to go with the programming. So for this possibility, for the second possibility, what just I have drawn, you can take the screenshot of this. Let me do this favor. If you have this possibility, if you have the second possibility where you wanted to get the things, from external resource, then we particularly go with programming. Then everything has to be done with the programming. There is no concept of front end. There is no concept of any tool over there. हालांकि Salesforce डेवलप कर रहा है एक टूल जिसका नाम है I just forgot the name, yaar. 1 second. And Salesforce is trying to Salesforce trying to give a customized tool, particularly for integration. Oh my God, how I forgot the name. Copado is for deployment. MuleSoft. So MuleSoft is under beta version right now. It is working, although it's working, but it's working for lightweighted integrations. Whenever things are little complicated, and which usually happens, whenever we do the integration is something which is a little complicated. But Salesforce is trying to develop a tool for that, MuleSoft. So MuleSoft would be a tool in the upcoming days, most probably, because see, we are moving towards low code, right? Low code to no code. So there might be in the coming days, in the coming years, it might possible that nobody would write down the code inside Salesforce. Even for that triggers part, if you don't know this, triggers are completely replaced these days with the flows, lightning flow. I'm going to take a lecture on that maybe in this weekend. Maybe this weekend I'm going to plan something for the flow. So triggers, although we would learn, but I'll tell you one thing, that triggers have been completely replaced. If you would ask me right now, do you write trigger these days? My answer would be very rare, very rare. Otherwise, I'll try to manage everything with the flows, right? So पहले ऐसा था कि trigger was the only way to perform the complicated logic. Now we have flows for that. And पहले ऐसा था कि deployment was something which was a little more complicated. Chain set से हम पढ़ेंगे, आज भी पढ़ना है हमको. But now Salesforce have a separate tool for that called Copado. Copado is an extracted tool from DevOps. Now integration is something which still is something where you have to write down the codes. Right now, it's even the integration has not completely been replaced by MuleSoft, although MuleSoft is capable to do the integration, but up to a certain extent on the shallow level. It doesn't go deep into that. But yeah, Salesforce is trying, and in coming days, jitno bhi Salesforce resource create honge, they never have got this touch of programming. But we were the person who have the knowledge. तो उस वक्त जब वो crowd enter होगा, तब हम लोग कहीं और पहुंच चुके होंगे, and that to be we have that knowledge of coding as well. So if something would break down there, मतलब हो सकता है देखो आने वाले वक्त में maybe 5 years from this, there could be two different crowds inside in the Salesforce. एक जिसको प्रोग्रामिंग के साथ बाकी चीजों का नॉलेज है, एक जिसको सिर्फ कॉन्फ़िगरेशन का नॉलेज है, प्रोग्रामिंग का नहीं. बट जो ओल्ड सिस्टम्स है, जो ओल्ड प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं, जहां पे मान के चले कि आज भी ट्रिगर से कोई इंप्लीमेंटेशन किया हुआ है, जहां एपीआई लिखा हुआ है, जहां प्रोग्रामिंग लिखा हुआ है, and if that logic has not been converted in the new technology, फॉर एग्जाम्पल एक क्लाइंट है जिसका सारा काम इंटीग्रेशन पे बनाया हुआ है, इंटीग्रेशन के लिए आपने आज वो प्रोजेक्ट आपने जब बनाया तो यू हैव रोट ऑल दोज एपीआईज एंड ऑल, आपने सारी वेब सर्विसेज लिख रखी हैं. 5 से 5 साल बाद सेल्सफोर्स में भी फॉर द इंटीग्रेशन इज यूजिंग म्यूलसॉफ्ट वेरी हैविली. बट ये प्रोजेक्ट तो आज बना है ना. अब इसमें अगर कोई मेंटेनेंस आ रही है, वी कैन नॉट आस्क द क्लाइंट, वी वुड सजेस्ट द क्लाइंट, ठीक है, कैन वी शिफ्ट योर्स टू म्यूलसॉफ्ट, बिकॉज आप म्यूलसॉफ्ट पे आते हो तो फिर आपको सेल्सफोर्स का उतना पैसा देना पड़ेगा, यू हैव टू बाय द लाइसेंसेस. And if a client is not ready for that, client would say, नहीं नहीं नहीं, I'll stay with this. मेरा काम चल रहा है ना, that's more important to me. Why should I pay extra money for you? That is your feasibility. I mean, you don't have those engineers. I mean, you have the engineers, those who know MuleSoft, but my integration is not on that. So that's, you have promised me to give the maintenance. So you will have to bring the developer that know how to code. तो आने वाले वक्त में, I'm telling you this, I'm forecasting this from right now. There would be two different crowds. एक वो जिसको प्रोग्रामिंग के साथ बाकी चीजों का नॉलेज है, एक वो जिसको प्रोग्रामिंग का कुछ भी नॉलेज नहीं है. They would find it a little bit difficult to work on maintenance projects. They can build up something new, maybe with certain non-coding tools. If there is certain complicated logic needs to be get implemented, वो flow से बनाएगा, उसको हम भी बना सकते हैं आज. But if that logic already has been implemented with the triggers, and if that person would ask to make the changes, he would say, no, I don't know triggers. I have never worked on that. But you would be the person who would say, yeah, I can do that. So ये वक्त आएगा, ये वक्त आएगा. Salesforce is, growing towards non-coding, low coding, and there would be a time when there would be no coding. But in a long run, those who have this knowledge, they would definitely be awarded with something else, right? Chalo, wo ek alag baat hai. So if this is your requirement, guys, where you wanted to get something from via coding only, when there is only one way, there's no another way to get the things apart from the code, then we have to go with DML. So particularly DML statements is having a place when we wanted to perform these operations with the help of a program. It is not just about inserting, updating, deleting in bulk. No, that's only a single small part of that. Yes, front end is capable only to perform a single record at a time. And if we wanted to perform whatever operation like insert, update, if we wanted to perform in a bulk amount, then we go with programs. But we have other tools for this as well. Why should I write down the program if I only wanted to insert 100 record? There's no need to write down program. I could definitely do this with either with Salesforce Inspector or data load or something else. Then again, there's no way, there's no mean to write down a program and use this. Actually, this is more used when you get the things from external systems. And there's only one way to get that is to write a program. And when you write a program and when you wanted to perform any operation related to database, you must require a DML over there. So that was the conclusion. This was a very important discussion. And nobody would going to tell you this. Nobody would going to tell you this. If you would watch the videos on this, everyone can explain you about the use of insert, update, delete, whatever, how to use, how to write a program for that. But why we are using them? What is the actual scenario, the actual reason to use a DML statement? This cannot be discussed in trainings. And that's the reason I always used to say, I would require more time to explain. If you are coming with me for this training, you'll have to be a little patient, little more patient, because I explain the things in my own way. So that is the reason we would learn DML statement. There are 6 different forms of that. Insert, update, delete, upsert, whatever has been written. And there are few of the governor limits. Let's talk on that as well. You can maximum write 150 DML statements in a single transaction in a single program. Like you can write only 100 SOQL queries. Queries we have recently finished up. There were governor limits related to queries as well. In a single program, maximum you can use 100 SQL queries. One SQL query could return you only 50,000 records, not more than that. But that is not the limitation. Don't worry. I will let you know that you can even fetch not just 5 million, 50 million records. Don't get disheartened if you would know that SQL can only fetch 50,000. There is a way in Salesforce that you could fetch up to 50 million record. 1 million is 10 lakh, by the way. So 50 million is 5 crore in Indian number system. 5 crore records you can fetch, but there's another way to do that. We're going to learn. We're going to see that as well. So in a single program, you can use 100 SQLs. One SQL can fetch 50,000 record. In a single program, you can write not more than 150 DML. One DML could fetch you up to 10,000 records. One DML can fetch you up to 10,000 records. If you would use more than 100 DML or 100 SQL query, the error what you got is system.limit exception. Too many SQL queries that time. Too many SQL queries, 101, 101, 101. This is the error code. If you have used more than 100 SQL queries in a program, the error you get is system.limit exception. Too many SQL queries, 101. Similarly, if you would use more than 150 DML statements, you will get this error, system.limit exception, too many, not SQL, too many DML statements, error code is 151. These are some of the common questions they would ask this in interviews as well. These are some common interview questions. What is error code 151? When you get it, what is the resolution of that? What is the error code 101? When you have seen this, what is the resolution of that? What is the reason of getting this error code? Right. So these are some of the common interview questions. You should know that. And with the help of a DML, we can fetch maximum. We can perform, not fetch, we can perform the operations on 10,000 records at a time. I shall talk about this. I shall talk about this inside the examples. And for tomorrow's session, we're going to start with insert statement. We're going to start with the insert statement. That's all for today. Yes. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Akash, Bhagyashri, Leena. Once again, Leena. Prerna, Rahat, Roshni, Ruchira, Sakshi, Shabana, Shadab, Shubham, and Snehal. All right. 12 of you. Any questions? Okay, then thank you so much for joining. Have a good day.